Dear Melissa, I work at a SaaS company that originated as outsourcing, custom software development business. A few years ago, the company acquired a product company, but continued to manage it the same way, building whatever the client asked for, just using the new SaaS platform. As a result, there was no real product thinking in place. After a year in my role, I've managed to organize a backlog and introduce a product vision. However, due to old habits, we still bring in dozens of new ideas and product variations each quarter. This makes it nearly impossible to maintain focus on a roadmap. In fact, we don't really have a roadmap, just a feature compass that I map along the user journey to track what we're building. My question is, what is the best way to separate and prioritize features in backlogs in an ever-changing environment? Are there best practices for categorizing ideas under themes like vision, feedback, and tech debt? So the short answer is yes, you need a classification system and OKRs. The way that I like to think about it is, what are things that are strategic? What are things that are customer requests? Maybe not strategic, but things that might help us either close a deal or it's a really big customer and they're in danger of churning, things that we really just need to get done sometimes to save our business. I call this sales debt. Stuff that the sales team or your consultants, right, former consultants, are basically promising to customers that may not go towards a long-term vision. You also want to think about what are bugs, what are tech debt, all of those different things in there. Now, once you have that, you're making a portfolio. And part of your stuff is going to be strategic. That goes along with the vision, helps you get there, helps you reach these OKRs. Now, my question for you is on that strategic part, are people aligned with your vision? Did you do a lot of work to get them all aligned and say, hey, here's the product vision. This is where we're going after. This is why we really have to double down on it and not just build whatever. It sounds to me that if people are still pushing stuff in there and treating it like a consulting mindset, you might need to do that first. Make sure that people feel really comfortable with that vision. In addition to having a portion towards strategic, you do have a portion towards bugs. You do have a portion towards tech debt. And sometimes, let's be realistic, you do have a portion towards customer requests. One of the most important things that you could do is really show people and break it down. What amount of money are we spending on each one of these? Now, when you're showing that to leaders, those customer requests and those sales debt things, there's a high margin to actually being able to do that. Maybe you take their approach to actually surface up how much money we're spending on that and what the margin is that we're actually going to return if it's one-offs for customers here or there versus the strategic stuff that you're doing and what the growth potential is and what you can actually be able to return on that. That's one approach that I like to show. And once people see that, they start going, oh, that's interesting. It might also be a mindset thing where they're not really understanding that by doing all of these customer requests, building a million different versions of your SaaS product, you're going to have tech debt on there, your margins are going to be lower, and you're not really a SaaS business. It's going to be harder to scale. You might want to paint the picture and give them options and say, hey, if we're still going to go this way, this is what our business is going to look like. Here's our roadmap. Here's what we're doing. That's okay that if you choose to do that. But if we go this way, more on the product side with this product thinking, here's our potential for margins. Here's our potential for business. Here's our potential for growth. And then we're just building something once. Occasionally, we might have to step in and do something custom, but we should charge extra for that. So that's how I have gotten through to people who really get stuck in this mode. And it's a very common mode, especially when you're used to just doing custom software. But you want to bring it back to why do you care about SaaS in the first place? And that's because of margins, scale, and growth. So if you could put it into that context, you might have a little bit better of an approach and a little bit more, let's say, grace in convincing people that you just can't dump a bunch of requests onto your backlog. I hope that helps. And again, I wish you the best of luck. If you have any questions for me, please send them to dearmelissa.com and I'll answer them next week.